Hi guys, so I wanted to start creating videos while I commute into the office each week. Um, I realized I made a commitment back in January to create videos here. I wanted to get momentum, I wanted to build this effort up over time, just like I did with my LinkedIn content, which hopefully some of you have seen and have come from my network over there. So this particular video, I wanted to create on and share my first experience. Think back actually getting started in this engineering industry, and it was back in 2008, which I had actually graduated from the University of Hertfordshire, which is just outside of London to the north. And at the time when I was looking at my first job, I had this idea that I'd be in some nice design office, maybe Hitachi was nearby, Mitsubishi was nearby, and nearby the university, and I had the idea that I'll be essentially joining their design drafting office, um, using CAD to create models and what have you. And it didn't really work out like that. What I experienced for the first 6 months of applying, I never actually got. Most of my applications fell flat. I never received any kind of positive feedback. If I did get a reply, it was really to brush me off. And I think it took me about almost a year, 12 months before I actually landed my first job entering this industry. And here's the interesting bit. You have to bear in mind, it was 2008. I graduated in the middle of a market crash, a global crash, the mortgage crisis that was happening, or spurred on, created by much of what was happening in the US at the time. And it turned into a global financial crisis. So there were a lot of layoffs, a lot of instability in the job market, and engineering, manufacturing industries were impacted. So that made it more difficult. I was trying to keep positive at the time. Ultimately saying to myself, if there are jobs being posted, there must be jobs available. And it's useful to have that sort of attitude. There was another thing I did differently that actually led to me getting that first job. And it was after about 6 months of getting nowhere, essentially, I did end up reconsidering how my approach was to the job market. The first thing about my CV, I actually changed. Instead of going for job boards, Jobs for You, and wherever at the time they were, I instead went straight to Google Maps now, and typed in engineering design consultants or product manufacturers, literally looking for anyone or any office that was situated local or in a surrounding radius of maybe 10 or 15 miles, which at that time I was willing to travel to. And there were several companies that popped up, including, and this was quite important, quite critical to the strategy, including um, including design consultants, small independent consultants that by definition would be looking for a bit, an extra hand, an extra help, a good skill set in CAD design, a fresh pair of eyes looking at each of the little projects they get in, whether CFD, fluid dynamics, they need simulation assistance, they need CAD design assistance, just getting drafting work out through the door. Um, so that was my experience. It was about month 10, I think. I was doing this for a couple of weeks, and just literally, I was picking up the phone, reaching out, sending direct emails. I would call the companies, trying to get talking to the manager, the owner, even, because ultimately they are the one that have the decision to make. They are the ones that can make those decisions, and it's always useful to talk to those people or that person that can actually make the decision for you, about what you're asking. And in this case, it was to get a job. The key lesson here was that instead of aiming so high early on in my career for a nice desk, a nice graduate position in a nice office environment, trying to get those graduate salaries early on, um, and trying to hit it relatively big, um, with a salary of 25 to 30K starting. I combined that search effort with a, a practical strategy. And together it paid off. In a couple of weeks, I was sitting across the desk from a company only around 8 or 9 miles from where I lived. It was a consulting engineering firm, wide and varied in projects. And I just managed to, I was sitting there. I was offered a BlackBerry at the time, where they were popular. So I was offered a BlackBerry at the time. Got a mobile phone. Got 21,000 starting package, which was due to rise the following years. Um, and yeah, so I was able to start the following Monday. I think I had the interview on a Friday and then start on the following Monday. Um, we had what felt like an informal discussion about what I've done at university, how I've been, how the job search was going, what I learnt at university, and what I find interesting. And it really didn't feel much like a stringent, strict interview either. It really felt like um, I was in an open discussion. Um, yeah, I just in my first 6 weeks of the job, I was basically helping draw from my basic CAD skills to use. Got some drawings done. At the same time, I was improving my use of CAD, so getting to know SolidWorks at the time. The first 6 months, again, building up that skill set. Um, I was the number two person in the office, so it was me and my manager. Basically, I was starting to end client meetings, even pick up client calls. Um, I did so much more and learned so much more as a new engineer, just finding my feet in the first year, that it built me more as a person than I ever would have got the chance to become in my first 12 months at corporate sized sort of or medium sized company. Um, and it's something I'd definitely recommend any graduating engineer to do. Um, it set me up for the next few years in my career. Um, You know, and if you've seen my posts on LinkedIn, I've mentioned that it took about 4, maybe 5 years maximum to actually go out on my own and set up as a consultant contract engineer in the mechanical engineering space. So it's one of those things. You know, in reflection, in hindsight, if I had got a job in Hitachi, Mitsubishi, ProDrive, wherever I imagined being in my first for my first job, I would never have gained the bigger skills of communication, improving my you know, client acquisition, learning, giving myself time to learn SolidWorks and CAD, applying CAD software to a wider range of design problems. So it definitely paid off. Just don't be following the advice or the easy way of doing things. You know, create a strategy of your own, work with what you have, and take applying to jobs as a serious endeavor. What you're really doing is marketing yourself. And yes, you might even hear people say it's a full-time thing. And yes, it is a full-time thing. If you treat it like that, you will see results much faster than you expect. So thank you for watching this video. I hope you've learned something from it. And if you liked it, give it a thumbs up. Consider subscribing to my channel. I hope to offer more insights from my engineering career. Yeah, we'll see where we can take this. Thank you so much.